welcome to all of you who are here today to celebrate Dudley Watts' 17 years of service to Forsyth County. And we are fortunate today. I've run into a lot of public officials and elected officials, and I was thinking about this before, over the weekend, about the numbers, because we've got both sort of county officials, we've got municipal officials, and we have Representative Donnie Lambeth here from the state legislature. So I'm a little hazard probably to not try to introduce a lot of folks, everybody. I just thought if I got in that, I'll be missing people, and then I'll ask people to hold their hands up and we'll be here for a while. I do want to mention that the city of Winston-Salem is adopting their budget tonight, and they're starting at 6, and we have a number of people from the city, and I know they're going to need to leave in the 5:20-ish at the latest. Well, I think we'll be done, but they're going to have to leave, and just want to make sure they know. And I did want to offer the opportunity. Dudley's going to have some reflections at the end. Our closing has one short thing, and then anyone that would like to say something, to Dudley and come forward, there'll be an opportunity to do that if you would like to do it. So that sort of maybe sets the stage for that. Before we hear from our county commissioners, I do want to take this opportunity to thank Ashley Matthews, our county clerk over here. And sitting next to her is Rosalind Covington, our assistant county clerk. So both of them, by the way, a lot of times everybody just waits to the end. I've been to too many events, and the folks who really made it happen, don't get a recognition. So I'd like to ask both of them to stand up. They had a lot of people to help them, and they really have done a great job bringing this forward today. Now I'd like to provide an opportunity for all of my fellow commissioners to have an opportunity to say a word or two. And I'm going to call on our Vice Chair, Gloria Winston-Hunt, to start. And when she finishes, she'll call on someone else, and I can be the last one because I'll introduce the next thing. I think that'll work well. And Gloria Winston-Hunt, our Vice Chair of the County Commissioners, forward. Good.
Hello, thank you all for being here. I promise you this will be real short. Most of you know, some of you don't. I'm a crier, and I cry when I'm happy, and I cry when I'm sad, and I'm both. So this will be short. When I was chair, we needed to find a new a new manager. So we put out, we needed to find a new chair too. And so we had a lot of people to apply for the job, in-house and out-of-house. We did numerous interviews, and nothing just hit us right. Can you hear me? You probably can hear me anyway, can't you? Okay. There it is. There it is. So anyway, we did interviews, and nothing got our attention. And so then we had an interview with Dudley, and our light bulbs went off. And I will promise you, everything he said during his interview, he fulfilled. Dudley was given a God-given talent, which is to manage and to solve problems and to identify talent that has been his staff. And so I can promise you he's the best county manager in North Carolina, and maybe further. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing Dudley with us for 17 years. I know it's been tough at times. I bet you think we got more attention than you did at times. And to his children, I thank you all for sharing your daddy. But let me tell you, never a time went by that Dudley was not bragging about Kathy and his children. So please know that. And Dudley, you have a place in my heart. Enjoy. You deserve it. Thank you. I'm going to call on Richard Linville.
Mr. Manager, I've been so busy that I knew all the things that I wanted to say. I just didn't take the time to put them all down. I've just been real busy. To make this work out for me today, I just took about 15 minutes of a break at the field where I was working so I could harder to get somewhere for me in the middle of the evening than it is in the mornings. You go somewhere in the morning, you got it made, you got it all done. I don't have everything just in a proper order that a writer would put in it, Miss Watts, but that's all right. Dudley he has got some really good traits about him, and all I can come to the conclusion to, he's bound to have gotten some of them from his mother and his father. He had never met either one of them. His father had passed many years back, and his mother passed, and I don't remember the date, but it was February of 2019, I think. And he had mentioned them and talked about them, things that they had done. And I went to the funeral down at West End, as many of the employees that some of them's probably here and some of them is probably not that attended, but I don't remember whether I'd read it beforehand or afterwards. She had written her on obituary, and one of the things, I don't remember all of it, one of the things she said was she had had enough adversities in her life that made her be humble. I understand that. I imagine many of us do. So I think that's where I'm sure he's done a lot of it on his own too, but he had some good guidance. And he's at the top of his profession, not just in the top tier, he's top, all the way to the top. And you rarely, I don't like to compare people, so I just say where it is they are. He's at the top. About the only, and I read this not very long ago. People will be talking about athletes, some of the best that there's been over time, and you'll mostly always hear that athlete, race car driver, whatever it is one of the best. And only one that I don't pay real close attention to sports or race cars. I do some, but yes, there's big names that I know, and the closest that I've seen that anybody said a person was the best, someone said probably, it was in a newspaper, I believe, probably Michael Jordan was the best in the basketball. That's close as I've ever seen anybody to say so-and-so was best. But Mr. Watts, he's at the top. He's got for somebody to be in this line of work where you got to deal with a lot of people and a lot of problems and figure out how to fix them. He is at the top on this that I know of. He has got the best temperament I ever seen for a job like this, or anybody. That would be nice to have that. sometimes I think mine's fair, but it's nothing comparable to that. Well, that would be really a quality for anyone to have, but he has that. And after he got here, he probably wondered about me for a while, but I didn't wonder about for him too long. And all of the time that he's been here, we might have had a different view on something, but I don't remember us, at least not me. If he had something, he held it back, and I didn't know it. Never had any big differences about anything, maybe just views on whatever it was the board might have been working on. So I never did worry about him any much, because he's knowledgeable. I don't see how anybody can remember as much detailed things as he does in the things that we do. And as Commissioner Winston said, that kind of thing has talent. I just don't think you learn all of that. It's talent. Race car drivers, a lot of them has talent. A lot of them is good, but some of them is just naturally born, got talent. So I never did worry about him too much, because I knew he just knew the things that ought to be done, until he got a portable sawmill. He's probably the only county manager in the state's got a portable sawmill. This is one of these you can move from place to place. And I told him, I said, you know a whole lot, but I said, this is something you need to be careful with now, because you can get hurt. So I don't want you getting hurt. So the last thing that I would say, Dudley is one good person. He's as good a person as I've ever run across. And I was sort of, I hate to see him go, but for a while there I thought, I didn't really think he wanted to. But then in the past several months, I've decided that he's doing what he wants to do, and I'm glad about that. Things as you get to a point that you're doing exactly what you want to do, and I won't miss you too awful much because of that, because I know what you're doing the things you want to do. But if anybody can meet, and all of you in here know him, some better than others. He's the kind of person that just, I wish I had this too. All of us sometimes gets a little bit agitated at maybe someone, but he's as close as I ever seen of not. That just don't happen much. He don't have no, I know him good enough that I just know he don't have any kind of bad feelings for people. I don't know how you figure that out or know it, but I know that about him. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. I am Commissioner Melisha Woodbury, and I am very privileged and honored to have just a few words to our County Manager, Dudley Watts. So I say to our County Manager, Dudley Watts, and his wife, Kathy, his family, and to Annadale, thank you. I just met Annadale as I was coming in, and we connected just by way of just the human factor thing. She said, "You're probably going into the same place as I am." I said, "Probably so." I said, "You coming for Dudley Watts?" She says, "Yes, I'm his sister." And so I had to confess, I did all I could not to like Dudley Watts coming from the school board. I had a made-up mind when I left the school board that I would come here and I'm just not going to like him. But as Annadale said, Dudley has a gift from God that when you sit down and listen to him and he is listening to you, you are in a very safe space. It is a very human space. And so I was glad that as I also transitioned from the school board, Dr. Emery, who was the superintendent then, she said, Shay, I always take the time to sit down and listen to people, find the connection. And I think, honestly, I found the connection with Dudley Watts because he wants me to be a good commissioner. And that is his role. And I have so much respect for Mr. Watts bringing me in as a new commissioner and really being delicate with that process. Being very honorable in that process, being very honest in that process to where it has made it that much more smooth and easy for me to take on this role. So I want to definitely thank God for Dudley's disposition and his service to Forsyth County and our state. I am so happy for you to, as a young man, decide, I'm out of here. I'm going to enjoy my life, like let go all of, I'm the best county manager in the state. I could stay here for another 10, 15 years and everybody would love it. No, I'm going and enjoying life, have peace, enjoy my family. So I am so happy for you, Dudley Watts, and I am so thankful that as a giving man, as a wise man, you knew to groom Chantel Robinson. So thank you for doing that too. So thank you for this opportunity, and I wish you and your family the best of luck.
I'm the other new kid on the block, and at 69, I never tire of saying that. Along with Shay, I was just elected in 2022, so we have the shortest amount of time that we've had the opportunity to work directly with Dudley. So I was not surprised, but I was pleased to have confirmed how experienced, respected, and responsive he is as a public servant. Not only that, but he is friendly and good-humored, which comes in handy when you're dealing with cranky old commissioners. And in the course of friendly conversation, not long after I was sworn in, we were talking about the upcoming purchase, dedication of the Blues Lake Park with the local funds and assistance from the state legislature. Thank you, Representative. Upon learning that I'm also a parks guy and an outdoors guy, and I was really supportive of the Blues Lake Park, Dudley started to wax enthusiastic about how he was going to have to get me out there fishing with him on his boat. He was going to show me every nook and cranny of Blues Lake, and I finally had to say, Dudley, thank you so much. But the truth is, I don't have the patience to fish. My knees get cranky if I sit while in a boat or someplace for too long, and you put me out there in the sun on the lake and I will fry like an egg. So let's look for something else, and we found that because he's an enthusiastic cyclist, and I'm a walker and still a runner, and love doing the greenways, and so I will look forward to going out there and joining you on the trails around Blues Lake Park, and thank you for the opportunity to work with you.
Greetings, I am Commissioner McDaniel. Okay, so I know I'm dressed up today, but they told me that this was a celebration. Nevertheless, Dudley, I wanted to say thank you for all that you've done and what you've done to help me accomplish the work that I do in my district, that I was elected to serve. So that I've found so many memories, I have so many fond memories about you. But the one thing that most stands out is that I had a passion to play guitar. And you shared a contact with me to an instructor, And I showed up the first day in class with some 1-inch nails, and the instructor quickly pulled me to the side and said, "This isn't gonna work." Then I broke my wrist. So you always give interesting gifts. So if I can have Rosalind, if she's near, yes. Needless to say, I'm your peculiar commissioner who's following in your footsteps today. So if you would come. I'm going to let you stand over here, Rosalind. Oh, Sheila needs a new home. So because you have proven to be a man of transparency and of integrity, you will receive this with a little message from me. Wow. So, it didn't cost anything because it belonged to me. It didn't cost anything, so it belonged to me. Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you so very much. I wish you all God's will and that you rest, relax, and rock on. This today says, I'll read it. So this today says Dudley Watts, Forsyth County Manager, 2006 through 2024. This award may seem like a little bit much, but you're worth it. Wow. Forsyth County Commissioner. So thank you. You're welcome. Go rock on.
I love it. Wow, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
We have to have a little concert before we're finished here. I've had the good fortune of working with Dudley for 16 years. I spent 6 years, my last 6 years as superintendent of schools. We worked together. He was the new county manager, and I spent the last 10 working with him as commissioner. And in a few minutes, I'm going to read a resolution from the Board of County Commissioners, and that'll highlight Dudley's many successes, but I won't go over those now. But during the 10 years that I have observed Dudley, he is very reflective about his work. He's a person who listens. You've already heard that from my fellow commissioners. A person who hires great staff and then supports them and sometimes gets out of their way. And a person who is able to tackle thorny issues and come up with creative solutions. Great leaders work behind the scenes to solve many problems that end up becoming big ones. So sometimes you never know the problem happened because good work was done in advance. I've also had a chance to observe Dudley's character. One day we were just having a very casual conversation about the large number of people who own chickens now. And Dudley said, well, I've got a flock of chickens at home. And I said, well, Dudley, do you basically sell any of your eggs? And he said, well, no. He said, we don't sell eggs, but about every Saturday I go to some of my neighbors that are older, shut in, and so forth. And he said, I take them eggs. I take them fresh eggs. I mean, that's the kind of guy we're talking about. I'm confident that if you had any neighbor ask him for extra help, he'd be there. He'd be there, whatever it would take. He would pitch in. And so if you think about it, as a county manager, he treats citizens as his neighbors. And basically, he helps them get what they need. And he has done that countless. And he's talked about a lot of cases from homeless folks to you name it. He is there to help out. Dudley is very talented. We've already heard about that. He's a musician. He is a farmer. He's a carpenter. I mean, who has a portable, a sawmill? I mean, come on. He has a portable sawmill. And he actually is a boat maker, boat making last summer. He actually is a sailor as well as a biker and a hiker. So he does a lot of things. And he does have a wonderful family. Had the opportunity to visit with Kathy on several occasions and meet some of the kids, but I want to say thank you, just like as Commissioner Wisnut did. But I particularly enjoyed hearing about the biking excursion around Washington, D.C. With 2 of his boys. And you'll hear a little bit about them in our resolution, and they're going to get a chance to speak later, and I'm really looking forward to what they have to say. Dudley might not be late, but he's looking forward to it. So next, and he's told me, he mentioned Commissioner Linville mentioned that idea, is he ready? Does he want to do this? And I can, in the last, these last 5 or 6 months, several times he said, I'm I'm ready for a new chapter. I'm ready. And I think, that issue of doing what you need to do when you need to do it, that is great. And knowing that is important. So I'm looking forward to continuing as a friend, and I'm getting older and I might need some eggs. I mean, it's kind of thinking that could be, on the list. Anyway, next I'd like to invite to the podium Chantel Robinson and Damon Sanders Pratt, our deputy county managers, and they're going to be followed by the Watts family comments, and then we'll have some presentations, and I'll come up and introduce that part. So you guys are up. Here you go.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the almost 2,500 employees of Forsyth County, we would like to thank you, Dudley, for your hard work, dedication, and exceptional leadership.
So Chantel and I have been tasked with saying a few words about Dudley on behalf of our fellow coworkers of Forsyth County, and it didn't take long to think about some characteristics that these employees would reflect on. So Dudley will meet with anybody, right? So that would be, he has a truly open door policy for employees, citizens, business owners, even someone who wants to accuse the county of stealing their car and their leather coat. Dudley will meet with them.
Dudley has served as a one-man wellness program. Over the years, bringing eggs, asparagus, butternut squash, blueberries, and figs from his and Kathy's plot on Memorial School Drive. We're gonna miss that.
Dudley is an artist, entertaining employees with his guitar playing, singing, and even songwriting, which we won't talk about.
Not only is Dudley an accomplished amateur musician, he's also known as a visual artist, making personalized frames from his home woodworking shop, even once making a rescue dummy lamp on the occasion of a coworker's retirement. And if you saw the slideshow, you would have seen a picture of that lamp.
An advocate of employees reaching their potential, Dudley established a management training program and took pride in identifying aptitude in employees so that they could be their best selves within the organization, sometimes to the dismay of department heads who would have liked their employees to stay at the level they were.
Dudley's creative, willing to try something new or a new way of doing something old, as long as it doesn't cost any money. His creativity shows up in the many ideas he suggests, some of them good.
Dudley is unpretentious. It would not be surprising to see him pull into work driving a farm vehicle that he just bought at an auction, or to have hair on his jacket from messing with livestock or his cats before he got to the office.
We have many Dudley stories, but the bottom line of these stories is that we'll miss them. He's smart, humble, down to earth, funny, and just one of the best people with whom we've worked with and to be around.
Mahatma Gandhi once said, "A sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create." And that is the epitome of who Dudley is, and Forsyth County has been blessed to have him at the helm. So we'll miss you, and all the best.
We'll miss you, Dudley.
Hello. Looks like there are a lot of people excited not to be working with Dudley anymore. For those of you who don't know, my name is Daniel, and I actually call him Dad. I'm the third of 4 children, and I wanted to start by thanking all of those that my dad's been able to work with throughout his career. For as long as I can remember, and especially in the past few months, when thinking of this shift in his life, he's spoken so highly of all of you. Or in my dad's words, it's not necessarily the work, but those I've been able to work with that I'll miss.
Daniel, I know those are hard to get through. Your dad's going to have to experience that here in a few minutes, I think. It's a real pleasure for me to welcome to the stage Representative Donnie Lambeth. He has been a tremendous friend to Forsyth County for now, and I guess we're pushing 12 years, but it's been moving along, and always appreciate his willingness to attend such events as this. And he told me, he said, tragedy in his own life in the last month. The budget is being handled at the state legislature. He said he wanted to be here today, and he's going to present the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Thank you.
Gosh, Dudley, these are hard acts to follow. They actually told me this was a roast. So I'm not prepared at all, you know. It really is an honor for me to be here, and I can tell you my colleagues are down in Raleigh struggling through a budget work day today, and I told them I'm not going to be there because this was more important to me to be here. And I would tell you, too, that you are not a successful county manager on your own. It took a really good, supportive board of commissioners. And you've had some good ones over the years, and these guys, in a bipartisan way, have done a whole lot to support not only you, but this community. And I'm actually very proud of this community for what they've been able to do and for what you've been able to do as y'all have. I mean, you think about all the things y'all got done in the last few years around here. Y'all got a lot done. I can't say that about Raleigh sometimes. And I did appreciate the comments that were made, particularly the one about problem solving and coordination, and just an all-around good guy with integrity. And it gave me a really pause for thought, because I now have a challenge for you and a job for you. Yeah, there is going to be an opening in the district where you live. You would be a great Raleigh member of the House at some point. Come on now. Give it a thought. It's not so bad. No, it really is an honor for me to be here. My time with you does go back with Don Martin to when we were on the school board, and kind of like Commissioner Woodbury said, it's kind of like the House and the Senate. We're not supposed to like each other. We always constantly in some conflict. The school board and the county commissioners are not supposed to like each other, and we're kind of at odds at times. And I would say that in our years, we learned the play that we really ought to ask for a little bit more than we want, and we'll settle on something less. And I would say in all my years of coming to the commissioner meeting and making requests and meeting with you and the chairman of the commissioners, there was never a time that we had any animosity or any friction. It was always a great discussion, and you were always so supportive, as was the commissioners, in helping our schools move forward. So that was very much appreciated. And then I didn't take the advice about doing retirement. I had to go do something dumb, like go to Raleigh, and it has been an experience. But one of the things that I said when I got down there was I did want to help the people in Forsyth County. And that's what we've been able to do with a lot of the things that you have helped me shepherd through the General Assembly to be able to help the county here in ways that you loved, in the ways that I loved as well. And actually, the honor I have tonight is to be here for an award that actually extends to you the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Now, for those who do not know what the Order of the Longleaf Pine is, it is the highest civilian award in North Carolina. Now, let me say that again. This is the highest civilian award in North Carolina. It was an award that Governor Terry Sanford came up with way back in 1963. And he did it to honor those who are retiring or individuals who have 30 or more years of service and have made a significant contribution through their exemplary service to the state of North Carolina, and also to the citizens who have made exceptional accomplishments. Now, let me just name some of the individuals that you are now joining that club. Billy Graham. Andy Griffith. I think Andy had some eggs too. Dale Earnhardt. Maya Angelou. Charlie Daniels. Junior Johnson. Michael Jordan, whose name was mentioned earlier. Don Martin. Richard Petty. There's also a trend here about race cars, so maybe that's a career too as an option. Bob Timberlake. Doc Watson. Coach K. Dudley, you're going to join an exclusive group. Your name's going to be among that group that we will use in the future to recognize other members of our community for what you've done and what you've meant to this community. As I said, it's my privilege to be here. I cannot tell you how much you and your staff have meant to me as I've tried to do the things in Raleigh that we need to do for this community. I would like for you to come up as we celebrate with you. This was recently approved by Governor Roy Cooper, and I'm here as his representative to extend to you special confidence in the integrity, learning, and the seal, Dudley Watts, Jr., the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun doth shine. Governor Roy Cooper, June 7th, 2024. Congratulations, Dudley.
I can do the toast too, so
Yeah, you can do the toast now. I should have got their hands raised.
Thank you, Representative Lambeth. It's a real pleasure for me to actually read a proclamation recognizing the accomplishments of J. Dudley Watts, Jr. on the occasion of his retirement. I can tell you in any proclamation, there are a fair number of whereases and J. Dudley Watts, Jr. So in order for readability, I'm going to substitute Dudley for that. All righty. Whereas Dudley began his service as Forsyth County Manager on October 2nd, 2006, and will retire June 30th, 2024. Whereas Dudley is an accomplished scholar, earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from North Carolina State University in economics and a master's in public administration from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Whereas Dudley earned a reputation for excellence, creativity, professionalism, and congeniality, and is a well-respected and dedicated leader sensitive to the needs of Forsyth County citizens and staff. Whereas Dudley managed advances in Forsyth County government, including centralizing and consolidating services to improve citizen access, migration to an enterprise resource system to improve human resources, budgetary and financial efficiencies, conversion of Smith Reynolds Airport to a county department, successful collaboration with the city of Winston-Salem on a joint fire training facility, shooting range, parking deck, law enforcement evidence storage, arrestee processing, and Liberty Plaza Park development. Whereas during Dudley's tenure as a county manager, Forsyth County replaced, improved, or developed essential county facilities, including the Central, Clemens, and Kernersville Libraries, Public Safety Center, Colliding Museum, Forsyth County Courthouse, corporate hangars, and Forsyth Technical Community College's aviation campus at Smith Reynolds Airport, and various improvements at Tanglewood Park and Triad Park. Whereas current construction projects, including Blues Lake Park, the Agricultural Park Complex, Health and Human Services campus improvements, Smith Reynolds Airport terminal and runway improvements, and co-location of fleet maintenance services with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools commenced under Dudley's tenure. Whereas Dudley provided wise counsel to the Forsyth County Commissioners in the development of a funding formula, quarter-cent sales tax, bond scheduling, and debt leveling plans to facilitate funding allocations for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. Whereas Dudley led Forsyth County through unique local and national challenges, including property reevaluations in 2009, 13, 17, and 2021, the subprime mortgage crisis and Great Recession of 2007, a worldwide COVID-19 pandemic, and management of the American Rescue Plan Act funding distribution process. Whereas Forsyth County has received numerous recognitions for excellence and achievement by the North Carolina Local Government Budget Association, Government Finance Officers Association, the National Association of County Officials, and the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners during Dudley's service. Whereas Dudley was recognized as the North Carolina City and County Manager Association's 2023 John E. Whitehurst Award winner, one of the most prestigious awards offered by his peers in North Carolina local government management. Whereas Dudley's tenure as Forsyth County Manager has included community involvement and leadership, Winston-Salem, the United Way of Forsyth County, Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina, the Rotary Club of Winston-Salem, the Wake Forest Medical Center Translational Sciences Advisory Board, Healthcare Access, Old History Council of the Boy Scouts of America, and membership at Centenary United Methodist Church. Whereas Dudley is a proud and dedicated husband to his wife Kathy and children Jack, Michael, Daniel, and Kate. Now therefore be it resolved that the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes J. Dudley Watts, Jr. for his years of outstanding and distinguished service to the citizens of Forsyth County and the state of North Carolina. Approve this 17th day of 2024. And you got to come up and get it. And I think you heard that, I believe Commissioner Linville mentioned that Dudley made frames for our senior leadership when they retire and they get these, have proclamations. So I just want you to know that this one was actually made by Jamie Collins, 2024. Wow. Did a nice job on this frame. So
way better than anything I did.
Homemade frame. Well, he doesn't have a sawmill. I mean, come on. There you go. Anyway, it all fit. Good. Now I'm actually going to call on Ashley Matthews, our county clerk, and she's going to sort of MC the department managers with a sort of a special recognition. So come on forward. Great.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. If I could have all of the county department managers and then the combined city county department managers as well, please come forward. Dudley, we know you've got lots of fun things planned ahead, and you have everything. And so we have a road trip basket for you, along with some other things, because we know that you and your sister are going on some road trips. And while everyone is coming up, Dudley and I started at the county together 17 years ago. I worked at the sheriff's office, and Dudley, of course, was the county manager. And I never imagined that we'd work together, but I'm glad that we did. You're a good man, and I appreciate everything you've taught me. Thank you. All right, Dudley, come forward.
Is this stage going to be all right?
Yeah.
Got a risk management thing. So.
I'm aboard. And so we appreciate you, and in that bag, you will find some fishing gear, some books,
Okay.
snacks, and all kinds of things you'll use in the future. And we hope you think of us when you use them and enjoy it.
Wow, thank you so
You're welcome.
much.
So we've got one more gift for you, Dudley, and that is from Sheriff Kimbrough. Do you mind coming up?
Good evening, good evening. First of all, I want to say this is a privilege to be here this evening, and it's a pleasure. When I think back of Dudley Watts, when I first met him, when I first came into the office of the people, the sheriff's office, how he received me, how he greeted me, the things that he taught me. He told me the importance of the number 4, which I've learned to respect, the number 4. He taught me the temperament. He taught me some things. And many times, even though we didn't agree on some things and we may have disagreed, one of the things that I learned is that every time we disagreed, we found ourselves back together. There was the love and the respect that we had for one another. I want you to know that I appreciate the private conversations that we had. The one out in Kernersfield, I'll never forget that. We talk about our boys. I'll never forget the breakfast that we had at the Indigo. That meant a lot to me to see a personal side of you. And for that, I say thank you. When I was coming into the building this evening, a young man walked up to me and asked me, was I going into Dudley's thing? And he introduced himself as Jack. I'm Dudley's son. And the smile on his face radiated to let me know the love that he has for his father. And when your son got up, the third of the four got up there, it showed me the true Dudley. And I love you, and I want to tell you I appreciate you for the things that you taught me. One of the things I want to leave you with before I take my seat is that Ecclesiastes talks about there's a season under the sun for everything. There's a season for planting and there's a season for harvesting. You have planted some seeds. You have planted a lot of things about this community. You've sown a lot of seeds. So I want you to go in God's speed and enjoy the harvest with your family and your loved ones, because you have truly been a blessing to me. Even though we didn't agree on everything, you have truly been a blessing. I love you. There's 3 things we want to leave you with before I go. One of them is a plaque, and it's just basically recognizing you for the service and the work that you have done in this community. And it basically says, from all the team members of the county, Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, it is presented to Jack Dudley Watts Jr. in appreciation for his service to this county. Thank you for the kindness and love that you have shown the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office June 3rd, 2024. Right here we wanted you to have, because some of the ideas that we came to you with, and so I know that you may forget us when you leave, but we're not going to let you forget us, because some of the things that we did here at the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, the first in the country, the first in the state, we couldn't have done it without the commissioners. We couldn't have done it without your support. And one of them is the first in-flight drone ADD. And every now and then, we're going to fly over and check on you. And last but not least is, it's a small gift and a token, that something that we wanted you to have, that from the office of the people, is that we reserve for people that we love, and it's a special gift. And so many things have been said about you, your hands, and how thrifty you are. And it's just basically a knife set. And basically what it is, it's just an appreciation with all the men that have come before me since 1852, Isaac Church listed to give to you. And I wanted you to have that. And there's only a few out there, and we've numbered them. And we reserved this one just for you. So I appreciate you, and much love to you and your family. Thank you very much.
Gonna have to find out how the sheriff found money to buy that. That's what I got to do now. That's right. That's what it always is. So, wow, I am absolutely overwhelmed. Let me first recognize my family that's here, and make sure to introduce them to you. So, if you will stand up, I know you really don't want to do that, but my wife Kathy, my oldest son Jack, my second son Michael, third son Daniel, my beautiful daughter Kate, her significant other, Adam, and Brooke, Michael's significant other, and then my sister, Annadelle. I didn't see you coming in, so thank you. All right, so if you go on FanDuel, you can probably bid on whether or not I can hold this together, since we got legalized betting online in North Carolina. But I'm going to try to make my way through this. I want to talk about community for a second. I thought about what county management really is, and it is a strange vocation. There's only 100 of us in the state. When you add the deputies and the assistants, you got more, and those are the folks that kind of do it, and you add the department managers, and you start getting a team. But the job of county manager is a pretty unique job. Occasionally I'll go into classrooms and I'll talk about city or county management. And a while ago, I kind of gave up talking about how I help elected officials formulate policy and solve management problems. And now I just talk about how cool the 911 system works, how the sheriff's drone thing is really, really cool. They get all over that, and fund library programs, how ambulances are dispatched, and when the pool at Tanglewood's going to open, and I get a lot better response from the kids when I just do that. But what county managers really do, and I have had this unbelievable ride in my life with that, is help elected officials and staff and department managers and business leaders and really just ordinary citizens build community. That's what it's the coolest job in the world. And you know, because really all you're there to do is try to build community and figure out what that means to 7 elected officials. I hope today is really a celebration. I know a lot of folks have seen folks that you hadn't seen in a while, and I've seen some folks who came into town for this, and I just really, really appreciate it. But our community has been through a lot. We have been through a lot. We endured the housing bubble. We thought things were way too good. Then you had it crash, and you had an upside-down revaluation, which we'd never experienced, and we had to dig our way out of that. Then you had a great recession that endured, really through the early 2010s. You've had major changes with our employers, with large employers. You had this prolonged recovery that we dealt with as a community. And then one February, we had this COVID thing that hit us between the eyes, and we had to deal with that. And on top of that, frankly, if you think about it, just the number of social movements and kind of unrest that we've dealt with have been really remarkable. And so it's been a remarkable time. We lost some leaders. I felt like I needed to we lost Buford Bailey and Walter Marshall and Bill Whitehart. And then we lost some department leaders that we went to a lot of funerals together with, like Sylvia Sprinkle Hamlin, Darren Ziegler, just kind of all out of the blue, Mel Sadler, Paul Fulton, and there were others. But somehow, during the ups and downs of the last 2 decades, this community has rocked. I mean, it has absolutely been amazing. We revitalized downtown as a community. Nothing that I did or we did. We supercharged the airport. We refocused our economic development efforts. We built libraries. We built schools, lots of schools. We built museums. We built parks. And we really changed our governmental footprint in downtown. And it's just been remarkable. And then we built a new courthouse, which took forever, took the whole 20 years, but we got it done somehow. And amazingly, and really because of everybody in this room, we are stronger and more vibrant than we ever have been. And we really are on our way to becoming what Mark Owens and Greater Winston, Inc. talks about, the best mid-sized community in the country as a place to live, work, and play. And just the fact that, of my 4 kids, 2 of them decided to come to land back in Winston-Salem. But we all know children who came back, because 20 years ago, it really wasn't the place for young kids to come back to as much. And it really is now. And it's just remarkable. I am so grateful that you allowed me to be a part of this. And I hope that today's celebration is really about us. Well, I was almost made it. And not me. I am so appreciative, Representative Lanabeth, that you came today. I know you've been through a bunch with Pam and passing, and you've been a remarkable person to work with, and I just really appreciate that. I don't think he's here, but I want to thank Pete Brunstetter. Because well, let me thank Gloria first. Let me do that. Commissioner Wiz Huntley, as she mentioned, was chair of the board back in 2006, and Ed Wooters, who's passed away, called her or talked to her one day when they were in the midst of it, and said, "You ought to get this small county manager in Granville County a second chance on the interview, because I already had a rejection letter from the Forsyth Board of Commissioners. I was rejected for this job in May of that year." And Ed called me one day, and he said, and Ed was just a super guy, and he said, "What do you think about Forsyth?" And I said, "Well, I love Forsyth. My mom grew up in Lexington." I said, "But I've already gotten a slam letter." I said, "I've already been rejected." And he said, "Well, they want to give you an interview." And so I came up here that Wednesday. I'll never forget, I was doing something for the Association of County Commissioners. See Mike Phelps back there. And I had to get on a conference call. And so I borrowed Deborah Conrad's office. And I was sitting there. You got a beautiful daughter. It was very distracting to see your picture of your daughter sitting there while I was trying to It was terrible. And I had this like 2-hour call after the interview. And so, but Gloria, thank you. And thank you for the encouragement of these years. It was important to me not to let you down. So what Pete Brunstetter did is a weird thing. I got here, I came in here because this is kind of a lonely job, and I got here and I was way outside of my shoes. There were a lot of department managers who wanted the job, couldn't figure out why I got it, and I couldn't figure out why I did, and they couldn't either. And so I was really outside my shoes. And Pete Brunstetter left this message on my voicemail that was just the kindest thing that, you're the guy, you can do this, blah, blah, blah. And it just was like, and I still got that message, actually. I don't know if Claudette Weston's here, but as just leaders in the community, I just got to thank Claudette Weston for writing me letters of encouragement all the time. She does it to everybody, and you want to think you're the only one, and you're not. I don't know how she does it, but I think she's got like a ghostwriter or something that writes her. But she just writes these letters all the time, right, Tricia? I mean, you get letters from it's just crazy. But anyway, we got people like that in the community that just do this sort of stuff. So other folks, and I'm going to leave some folks out, and I can just look around this room, and I tell you, everybody in this room is so special to me. And so I know I'm going to leave some folks out, but I do want to thank some folks. Commissioner Linville, I want to thank you for those Thursday afternoon talks that you talked about. Most of the time they were about family or farming, but we got a little county business in there. You're a deep thinker, and I just really wanted to hear that from you, and I could tell you get comfortable when we'd be sitting in there, and that was just really special to me all the time. I'm going to probably swing by the farm, and because I'm going to need a little bit of that, and actually need a lot of farming advice, but we'll talk about that later. Commissioner Pleiter, I didn't know if he was going to be here or not, but I did want to thank him for keeping things light, and really thank him for a deep devotion to public service. Commissioner Daniel, you love this community so much, and it's so evident, and it's easy to read read you, and I can tell that. Commissioner Bessie and Commissioner Woodbury, Mr. Woodbury might have stepped out, but it's really been an honor to get to know you guys. You're both dedicated public servants, and you had prior elected experience as an elected official, and that it was interesting to work with you through the differential part of that from the city and obviously from the school board. Through the search for the best spot to put this courthouse, and through really the courthouse discussion, we were talking about it in 2006. I gave it to Ed Jones because I didn't think anything was going to happen, and so I was like, "Well, Ed, you just handle that." And I could tell nothing was going to happen until we got up to about 2009. And we started working on it a little more seriously. But there was a lot of leaders in this community who, particularly in the legal realm, that were part of that. Incoming Commissioner Gray Wilson was actually one of those. And so I'm sure he's going to complement this board very, very well. Other folks have passed away, like David Friedman. Just shocked me when he passed away in the midst of COVID, and we miss him. Grady Barnhill, Jim Fox, District Attorney Jim O'Neill was critical in that. I don't know if Jim's here. He probably might have had to come and leave. But others, Richard Bennett's back there, and Richard, I got to know you through that. Judge Cleland, just to name a few folks. The immediate team, I've already told Damon that I can't talk about him and not lose it, and so I'm not going to, except I love you. And he was in the office when I got here, and just can't do it. So recognize Chantel's leadership really early on. I'll never forget. One day I'm sitting there and I said, "What do you think about county management?" She was this preeminent HR professional, and but she was Miss Fix-It, and she really did fixed a lot of stuff. And she's like, "I don't know, I'm an HR person." And I said, "Well, you really do have the temperament to do this job." And I sort of planted that seed and then kind of left it and would come back to it. But one thing, when you put together a team of people and you look around you and you look at how smart they are, I know God's got a plan for my life. And it's, part of this was making room for that talent in the organization. Okay. I got to throw a few names out because I saw Jane Cole over here, and big part of that inner office for a long time. Carla Holt, Jane, Ashley, Rosalind, Lily, Davita, Gordon, I saw you back there, Kyle Wolf, Scott Angel, Kirby Robinson, and I can just go around the room and say Kimberly Bussey and Daryl Walker and all these other, and I apologize that I'm not going to do that because I'm going to leave folks out, but what an amazing team. So in closing, what I really want to do is thank, the 2,000 people that make up this workforce in this organization. Every day, those folks, they respond to 911 calls, they check out books, they research soils, they do wellness checks, they're providing benefit applications, they're responding to emergency calls, they mow grass, they clean buildings, they vaccinate babies, they just do all this stuff. And, so it's millions of interactions. And nobody calls me at night, which tells me that so much is done so well. Because, isn't that right, commissioners? We really don't get calls. And it's not because of anything that I've done. It's just that you've got these dedicated people that call themselves public servants. I looked on I was looking through some inspiration and I saw the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They had the 10 professions that are the most stressful professions that exist. It's what you'd think. It's surgeon, doc, it's paramedics, number 3. My daughter's a social worker. Social workers on the list twice, both with family and children and clinical social workers. My son Michael's a firefighter. Firefighter's like number 8. Public service was 5 of those top 10 things that people choose to do. Thank you.
We got one final closing piece. And the one final thing is on June 27th, we're going to have a board action to do something, and we're going to pretend that we're having that action right now. We're going to pretend that. I know, but we didn't advertise this meeting, so we're going to have a pretend motion. But we're going to do that officially on June 27th. And so I'm going to make a motion that the new county park at Blues Lake be named after the Dudley Watts Park at Blues Lake. And I'd like a second. Got a second. And I believe the vote's unanimous on that. Got a picture. We were not going to.
You were not going to listen to anybody. Wow.
Not going to listen.
Congratulations. Sorry.
Yeah.
He told us not to.
I demanded that this.
You just got a few days left, buddy. That's good. That's good. Thank you. And I did promise if there's anyone else that would like to make a comment or two right now, Dudley he has your attention, and you'd be welcome to come to the podium and do that. And I recommend the steps after a couple of taking this one a few times. So it's good. Anybody else, please feel free if you would like to. All righty. Well, that's good. Got some more food, and Dudley's right here to visit. So thank you. Been a great afternoon. Thank you for coming.